Me too. I really like this part of Virginia. Just wind through the mountains a little bit.
On the Oklahoma shore, that old red river, I stand right here. Yeah. You know, technically, I'm not even really supposed to be here right now.
Autorack train. I'm Autorack. Autorack train stop there.
Hey girl, see everything you wanted in me. You had me in the palm of your hand. So why you not with me? I just can't seem to know.
I trust Saturday, dude.
Should've known better when you came around that you were gonna make me cry. It's breaking my heart to watch you run around, 'cause I know that you're living a lie.
Hey, Buck Taylor.
Funny thing about that is I was ready to give you my name. Thought it was you, baby, and now it's all just a shame. And I guess I was wrong. Don't wanna think about it, don't wanna talk about it. I'm just so sick about it, can't believe it's heading this way. Just so confused about it, feeling the blues about it. I just can't do it. Can you tell me, is this fair? Is this the way it's really going down? Is this how we say goodbye? Should've known better when we came around. Should've known better that you were gonna make me cry. Now it's breaking my heart to watch you run around. Cause I know that you're living a lie. That's okay, baby, cause in time you will find. What goes around, goes around, goes around, comes all the way back around. What goes around, goes around, goes around, comes all the way back around. What goes around, goes around, goes around, comes all the way back around. What goes around, goes around, goes around, comes all the way back around. Yeah.
This glass house that we all live in, and it's one of those things. It's very expected. I mean, you knew it was going to happen. You knew he was going to handle it that way at some point. It's how it was going on last year. And but hey, now it is what it is, and we move on. I'm very excited about this team. There's been a lot of really good stuff going on here. I want to be sure we're focusing on that because that's in the past. Mistakes, move on. All of us.
interesting. You know, I feel like, Michelle, that he's clearly upset that he said it. But I like I said I had a glass house last year. No, I mean, to be fair, you sucked. So, like, I understand why people, you had a glass house because literally you were breaking it every single time you got on the field. So I keep forgetting these folks, and this includes Saleh, and it includes Aaron Rodgers, and it includes Hackett. They're acting like, Michelle, this criticism wasn't warranted. It was. Should Peyton have said it? Well, you can have different opinions about that. But it was true and warranted, don't you think?
Partially, because I think in just pointing out what Nathaniel Hackett did as the head coach, and especially some of the penalties he referenced, I understand that. He's coming in and saying, this person made a mess and I'm cleaning it up. But I think the comments that he made was trying to gas up his quarterback and Russell Wilson and essentially say, we're pointing the finger at Nathaniel Hackett. This had nothing to do with Russ. They needed to be the parents in the room and not let him bring his personal quarterback's coach, not have PR, the pomp and circumstance. Why do you feel the need to have to do that publicly for your quarterback? Why? And by saying that he needed PR and pomp and circumstance last year, isn't that exactly what you're doing now? You're trying to reverse the narrative. You're trying to get your name in the headlines.
I'm curious to see if we're actually going over the Smoky Mountains.
He knew by making those comments to USA Today that we would be analyzing everything he said. And I just think that inadvertently he showed us a lot about
Jonesburg, there's a virtual real
and
fan
what
camera.
Russell Wilson has been in that organization.
That's interesting. I hadn't thought about it like that. I don't think that's a ridiculous position. I'll just say this. He owes Nathaniel Hackett nothing. Like, it's like you move into a house and then all of a sudden there are all these interior problems that you have to fix, and you just look at the former owner like, really? Did you have to do it like this? He owes Hackett nothing. He does, if he wants to succeed, need to build up Russell Wilson. And if he thinks this is what he needs to do, then I'm cool with it. I find Russell Wilson to be really like an odd person, but nevertheless, Sean Payton's not going to succeed unless Russell Wilson succeeds. He owes Russell Wilson to make it as good as possible. As far as Nathaniel Hackett, I'm okay going. I thought
some of these analogies coming out of Jets camp, though, Robert Saleh with the crows pecking on your neck and then they fall off and suffocate because they fell. And Nathaniel Hackett, with the glass house and the keys, and everybody's got a key. Just say what you feel. Well, we don't need the
that's the Aaron Rodgers influence. That's the Aaron Rodgers influence. He goes, he does the ayahuasca, everything is metaphysical, and they're all trying to keep up with him. That's Aaron Rodgers' fault. He's turning everybody into D-grade poets over there in New York.
If you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping.
Oh, shut up.
I kind of like this ride.
Michelle's moment. Coming up next, what say the Jets so long to sign Dalvin Cook? We're going to find out from somebody who knows Canty Carlin on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Hand to camp, team to team.
On this field where fortunes are made for loss.
Continuing coverage. The countdown to kickoff rolls on. 37 days until the NFL season begins.
CoverFitUSA.com.
Right. These colors. That's a heavy haul, people.
That 140-year-old hunk of old world technology is back. Hear that? More people than ever are calling small businesses just like yours. 2 out of 3 mobile web searches end with what? That's right, a phone call. Nice try, email and contact forms, but we're done writing letters. People, let's make some noise for the undefeated champion of one-on-one communication, the phone. We are Ruby, the remote receptionist who said all along, there's no better way to grow your business. We answer every call live. No scripts, no recordings. Just a real, highly trained receptionist, mastered in the art of turning rings into relationships. Experience Ruby for yourself. Visit Ruby.com. Or better yet, call us 866-GET-RUBY.
Every diesel needs to defend against clogged injectors, low lubricity, and slipping fuel economy. The best defense is the best defender. House Diesel Defender with advanced IDX floor detergent. Get it deeper clean, maximum lubricity, and boost fuel economy. Guaranteed. House Diesel Defender. Get optimal performance. House
advice from some of the best in the biz right now on Sports Grid Radio, channel 204, and the SXM app, free for most subscribers. This is Sports.
I'm Christine Lisi. Breaking news on this baseball trade deadline day. Like Max Scherzer, Justin Verlander's out the door in New York. The Mets have a deal in place to trade Verlander to the Astros, a team he spent 5.5 seasons with and won 2 World Series with, reports ESPN's Jeff Passan.
Verlander goes to Houston after signing a 2-year, $86 million deal with the New York Mets. There's also a conditional option for a 3rd year if he pitches 140 innings next year. That scared a lot of teams off, but the Astros clearly know what they're getting in Justin Verlander. He has been their ace before, and he's going to be their ace again for another run.
Outfielder Drew Gilbert, rated as Houston's best prospect by MLB.com, heading to the Mets along with another outfield prospect. Houston is a happy back of AL West leading Texas and holds the 2nd AL wildcard spot. Blue Jays acquired infielder Paul DeYoung from the Cardinals. He gives Toronto insurance after Bo Bichette left last night's game with knee soreness. Braves adding an experienced left-hander to their bullpen, acquired reliever Brad Hand from the Rockies. Padres acquired lefty starter Rich Hill and first baseman G-Man Choi from the Pirates.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
Stranger.
So anyway, if you get to ask a question, he's going to answer it live. And I think that's what he was doing while also sending a message to everybody within his organization.
For a guy like Sean Payton, it was a small move by him.
Alongside Matt Jones, I'm Michelle Smallman. It's Canty Carlin, ESPN Radio, the ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance, and you can always join the conversation. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Matt, we talked last segment about you can't say haters and pop in if you're above the age of 35. But then during the break, we determined that if Robert Saleh, who looks like he could really beat someone up, says it, I think it's okay. I think...
No, I still don't know. You're only saying that because you like
Elizabeth.
You're in New York. It's
I think that's where
now he is
Shakira Myers, Shakira and Aaron,
so like he's not like
Aaron Myers are
your
down here.
normal sort of dorky 44-year-old, but we have to make rules, and there have to be rules that say things like that. And the other thing is, let me say this: he says you got haters, we ain't popping. Stop. You have been terrible for years. I don't want to hear it right now.
Well, we do want to hear from our ESPN NFL reporter, Diana Rossini, who joins us now. She's been covering the Jets. Diana, thank you for the time. Always great to chat with you. You were at the Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers press conferences, but I want to start with Nathaniel Hackett. What was the vibe like when he was talking about Sean Payton's comments about his coaching job with Denver? Take us through what the experience was and what it felt like.
Yeah, hi, Michelle.
Until point. So I know we're
Okay, so you're a Big Ten person. And my guess is, I'm not sure, but my guess is you don't like that there is like Rutgers and Maryland and then there's USC. And you say like you wish it was Midwest, like knock them into face football. Is that right?
Yes, correct. I just think that one of the best parts about college football and what really differentiates it so much from the NFL are these amazing geographic rivalries. And I love that Pac-12 football, when we went to Pac-12 football, it had a certain style to it, a certain feel to it. Big Ten football is different than Pac-12 football, and I hate that all in the name of money and TV contracts, we're losing some of these rivalry games. They're having these universities go to these different conferences, and it's an awkward fit. Like, come on, Rutgers and Maryland should not be in the Big Ten.
No, I think they messed up. I think they messed up with those two. I'm with you.
Nebraska? Where is Nebraska? Come talk about Nebraska in the Big Ten. I just think these teams lose their way.
Nebraska's boring, but Nebraska's not
Basically, the same line on it.
I said Welcome Center, 1 mile.
Means so.
If you're UCLA, to have
Means his, right?
partners that play tennis, that's tough. But the money is such now that it is what it is. And Pete Thamel on Twitter, ESPN's Pete Thamel said, is reporting that the Pac-12 executives presented a deal with the Pac-12 presidents that was for Apple TV as their primary service. And the deal with their tiers for how many of
I wonder if this is part of the Smokies are going over.
now, I don't think that sounds like a great deal.
I'm just surprised that this would be the package that's presented because all this is being driven by the television deals. Because the Pac-12 had it presenting, that's part of the reason that they jumped ship. And you wait all this time, and this is what you present, and it will have incentivized tiers, and you have to galvanize and mobilize your fan base to sign up.
And the national people can't see it. I mean, I'm not going to get on Apple TV and watch Oregon State, Washington State. I'm just not. And I don't think most people in the show are going to do that.
He's Matt Jones. I'm Michelle Smallman. Coming up next year on Can't Take Carlin, another starting pitcher has been traded. We're going to tell you who and update you on the Major League Baseball trade deadline. Plus, can the Cleveland Browns win the AFC North? We're going to talk about both of those things coming up next. Keep it here on Can't Take Carlin. You're listening to ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
At Granger, we're the ones who pay attention to every detail. The ones who pause sometimes on the small stuff. Because you know the kind of thing that makes the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We care. We're the same. Offering access to product experts to help you reach any business strategy. So whatever you're doing, professional grade practice. Call thegranger.com for just that one. Granger. For the ones who get it done.
If this were a Reese's TV ad, you'd be staring at Reese's peanut butter cup. Enjoy my Reese's peanut butter is smooth, but still, you get to see the peanut butter cup. No, I can really just say Reese's a little bit inside. Okay, Reese's. Reese's. I'm working actually for Reese's. Reese's. This is the money something. Reese's.
It's time to play Comic Super Barbecue's Butterfield Signature Baseball Shooters. Now, as you see, last night,
This is a pretty scenic ride.
Take fast acting Vaseline. Take Vaseline correct. Vasine's formula for quickly relieve substances. Save your summer and settle your stomach. Vaseline. Get Vaseline now in stores everywhere. This is right.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain.
But we don't speak Spanish.
So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another people's conversation that teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive bite-sized lessons, you will never learn.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish.
Estoy muy emocionado para ir a España contigo.
Aww. He just said, I'm very excited to go to Spain with you. Vamos a tener mucha diversión.
And that means we're going to have so much fun.
Sí. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Professionals from Marco Manning. You've heard me talk about Celebrity Greens, the company that builds championship-level synthetic upgrades and homes and amateurs and professional golfers all across North America. Celebrity Greens is known for their great design, the use of the best materials, and their amazingly high-quality installations. Their greens look great and perform like natural greens that I've planted my entire career. Now, Celebrity Greens is looking for additional sales and construction partners. If you're involved in the synthetic turf business or a contractor to expand your business or an entrepreneur, give Celebrity Greens a call today. They're currently expanding across North America, and they will be opening new markets soon. And if you're an avid golfer with the convenience and the beauty of a custom green or a beautiful low-maintenance lawn in your own backyard, you should call them too. Contact Celebrity Greens at 1-888-507-7960 or visit them online at celebritygreens.com. Celebrity Greens, redefining private golf all across North America. Visit them online at celebritygreens.com. Celebrity Greens.
Surviving COVID as a small business owner was nothing short of 4 shutdowns, adapting the way you did business, now rising inflation. But did you know millions of businesses qualify for the government's employee tax credit? If you're a business owner and have W-2 employees, you can pay back a portion of the salary up to $26,000 per employee. We're not talking pennies. The business with just 4 W-2 employees could collect over $100,000. Yes, $100,000. Call the experts at Jefferson Duke to find out if you qualify. You pay nothing up front. We get a small portion of what you collect. If you don't get paid, we don't get paid. Call 1-800-416-WORK. Again, 1-800-416-WORK. This is not a loan. There is nothing to pay back. You can use the money however you like. Even if you took PPP money, you may qualify. You work hard for your money. Now let Jefferson Duke work hard for you. Call 1-800-416-WORK.
So, what are you thinking for lunch?
I can't. I'm getting new window treatments, so I gotta go home and wait around all afternoon for a design consultation just to get a quote. It's gonna totally mess up my workday.
Why don't you just go to Blinds.com?
Because I need custom products.
Blinds.com products are made to order and totally customizable. And you get upfront pricing right on your website to easily get your quote online.
But I want to see the products in person.
Blinds.com ships samples to you fast and free. They can even verify your measurements and handle the installation.
Wow, how convenient. Tell me more.
Blinds.com offers a huge selection of stylish shutters, shades, curtains, and options for motorization, even for your patio. Plus their 100% satisfaction guarantee.
Well, you've convinced me. Let's go eat. I've got time now.
Shop Blinds.com's Summer Black Friday sale now. August 1st. 45% off mega deals. 45% off at Blinds.com. Rules and restrictions may apply.
What should we do with the broke propeller? What should we do with the broke propeller? Don't look at me, I wasn't driving. Thank you, you're not helping. I don't even know why I'm slow. You told me to drive me slow.
Accidents don't just happen at sea shanties, so Progressive Boat Insurance has you covered. Take us on those roads to see what you can save at Progressive.com. Progressive Insurance Massachusetts.
They know their NASCAR and can probably tell you how to change your oil. Listen to NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and the SiriusXM app.
Breaking news. Justin Verlander and the Astros. According to ESPN's Jeff Passan, Houston's got a deal in place to acquire Verlander from the Mets. The Astros sending their top 2 outfield prospects to New York. Verlander and the Astros won 2 World Series championships during his 5.5-year tenure in Houston. Phillies in a logjam of NL wildcard contenders acquired righty Michael Lorenzen from the Tigers. A couple of days after sweeping the Rangers and pivoting from sellers to buyers, most glaring needs today. ESPN MLB insider, Buster Olney.
This is the one time a year when small sample size can make a huge difference in baseball. And so the Padres went from being potential sellers to being buyers. They get Rich Hill, oldest pitcher in baseball, and Ji-Man Choi, who's going to help them out at first base and his DH to try to bolster the bottom half of their lineup with their offense.
Buster on ESPN Radio Afternoons. The Braves acquired reliever Brad Hand for the Rockies, added an experienced lefty to their bullpen. Broncos confirmed receiver Tim Patrick has a torn Achilles. He will miss the entire season.
Long summer days call for extra hands. Hire fast with Indeed. Their hiring solution helps attract, interview, and hire candidates. Sponsor a job and instantly receive a short list of quality candidates whose resumes match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit. This is Canty and Carlin.
Hey, let's go do our job, man.
NFL Nation 2-a-days on ESPN Radio. The Cleveland Browns.
158, go!
This is Jake Trotter covering the Browns. All eyes will be on quarterback Deshaun Watson, whose play will determine Cleveland's fate both this season and beyond. Watson underwhelmed last year following his return from an 11-game suspension. In 6 starts, he ranked just 27th in QBR. Watson will have to rekindle the form he had in Houston for Cleveland to have any hope of reaching the postseason in a loaded AFC. The Browns have gambled $230 million in a record-setting, fully guaranteed contract that Watson will bounce back in a big way in 2023.
Countdown to kickoff with NFL Nation 2-a-days on ESPN Radio.
That railroad must be pretty close to this
There's the sign, I think.
Michelle Smallman,
Welcome to North Carolina.
Insurance. Trade deadline is 2 hours away.
Here it is.
By the way, some breaking news per Jeff Passett. The Philadelphia Phillies are in agreement to acquire Michael Lorenzen from the Detroit Tigers. He's had a great year with his All-Star. He will now join the Phillies, who are clearly in buy mode. We will do more baseball trade deadline as they develop, but we were talking there about the Browns. Cleveland Browns are a team, Michelle, that, I'm not going to say that I enjoy watching. I think they have the most passionate fans of a team that has given them very little back in return in the NFL. But this year, like a lot of years, they'll look at you and say, you know what? This is the year we turn it around. Do you think with Deshaun Watson and this group they have, they can improve in what is a very tough division?
So I go back and forth on this one, Matt, with Deshaun Watson, because those final 6 games were some of the worst quarterback play that we saw last year. It was really rough.
Yes.
And it's hard for me to believe that he just lost it. And I think that we'll see a bounce back year from Deshaun, not only because he has a full season of runway to get through, but all of this stuff off the field won't be as omnipresent as it was last year. So I think that he'll be in a different headspace, and I think he's had more time to prepare, and we'll see a better version of him. But also the guy that we're looking at, or we're looking for, I should say, the quarterback who led the NFL in passing yards at one point, that was like 3 years ago. So I go back and forth on this, from thinking this is a well-rounded Browns team, and if we see the version of Deshaun that we expect, this is a team that could go far. But then I'm like, it has been a minute since we've seen that from him, and I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, there aren't a lot of times that a guy, for whatever reason, doesn't play, and when he comes back, he's as good as when he played. I mean, 2-year gaps, which is basically what you were talking about with him after the injuries and the suspension. That's just not a good recipe for success most of the time. It didn't look good those last 6 games. And it's hard for people to evaluate Deshaun Watson without talking about their personal opinions just of him and his behavior, etc. But if you just look at the football, I think the reality is he's got a year to basically decide. I mean, he has a year like the 6 games he just had. You're going to be talking about, what do you do next if you're the Browns? Because they're not going to continue. They're wrapped up in his contract, and that'll be a crusher for them. But nevertheless, this is a massive year for them, and they are in what I think is the hardest division, because every team is competitive. Every team is going to have
Trying to diss people that love something that much. It reminds me a little bit of the Cardinals. I come from St. Louis. St. Louis lives and dies with the Cardinals, and sometimes they're mean. Not this year. Not this year.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Cardinals fans, like Red Sox and Yankees fans, you get one bad year, you can't act like you've not had the spoiled lifetime of all time. I mean, the Cardinals fans have had a pretty amazing run, especially over the last 15, 20 years. And then going back in history, they have won as much as anybody, right?
Yeah, but they haven't won since 2011. It's been 10 years. 10 years. I'm just saying, St. Louis is getting impatient. That's all I'm saying. The standards are different.
So what is your thing? If it's not the Browns and it's not Taylor Swift or Fish, what is your thing that, you are the most obsessive about?
I have nothing. I'm devoid of obsession, and I lead a really sad life because of it. I don't care about anything that much. No, and I'm envious of people that care. I want something that I can love and care about, that I'm delusional about. This is the best time of the year for Browns fans, because they're like, if Deshaun can find himself again, maybe we can make the play. Like, I miss that feeling of hope, and that feeling of excitement, and that feeling of commitment and love. I don't have it. And I tried to manufacture it. And
we have to get you something like that. We have to get you some topic or something that you can be obsessive about. Because you want the community of care, right?
I do, yeah.
Yes. Well, we will accept you in the University of Kentucky fan base. We are obsessive. Well, why not?
Because I have a university. I went to
Illinois, no offense, that they mattered in a sport in 20 years? I mean...
Hey, the football team is in the best place it's been in many years. The arrow is pointing up with Coach
The best
Bill.
place it's been in many years is like the Cheez-It Bowl, isn't it? Like, it's not necessarily... I'm not trying to be mean.
We have self-awareness. Okay, we know it's been rough. It's been really rough. I am at the place with Illinois football where I'm just pumped to be in the conversation. I'm just pumped to be competing in the Big Ten. Okay, I'm not going to ask
for
for too much.
conversation? Is there a conversation that includes Illinois?
Look at Illinois last year. There were a couple games that they could have won. Game day coming there.
I do like that. I do like when you talk about your banner year, you go, and there's a couple games they could have won.
No, they had a good year last year. Let me pull up their record.
No, all right, so Browns, they make the playoffs or no?
I'm going to say no because I am not a believer in Deshaun. So I do not think they do.
I think they're going to be better, but I think the AFC is so stacked that still won't be good enough to make a playoff spot. The ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. You can save when you bundle motorcycle art.
281-5597. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Log on to oxcarcare.com or call Ox Car Care 800-281-5597.
Get a daily dose of body slams and pile drivers on a show dedicated to pro wrestling. Busted Open, Monday through Saturday mornings at 9 East on Channel 156 and the SXM app.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Another blockbuster trade involving the Mets. A couple of days after trading Max Scherzer to the Rangers, the Mets reached an agreement with the Astros to send Justin Verlander to Houston. Reports ESPN's Jeff Casson. The Astros sending their top two outfield prospects to New York. Verlander and the Astros back together with a shot at a third World Series title. ESPN MLB insider Tim Kirkchin.
Verlander's been really good. The last 42 innings, he's allowed 6 earned runs. Plus, he's only thrown 94 innings the whole year. So, in theory, he's going to be a little bit fresher down the stretch. And their starting pitching, they have third best starters ERA in the major leagues this year. And then they add this guy. They have J.P. France, who's come from nowhere to be a really good pitcher for them. Jose Urquidy is now coming back. Their rotation looks really good again.
Phillies in a logjam of NL wildcard contenders acquired righty Michael Lorenzen from the Tigers. Blue Jays acquired infielder Paul DeJong from the Cardinals. The move made with Bo Bichette day-to-day with right knee soreness. Braves acquired veteran lefty Brad Hand from the Rockies. He gives Atlanta another left-handed option coming out of its bullpen.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. They're close, convenient, and have the parts you need fast, along with excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
It's a rebuild, not a fire sale. It's not a liquidation. This is just a repurposing of Steve's investment in the club.
I can't explain the failure other than to say that maybe Edwin Diaz meant even more to the Mets than we thought he did.
I think they want to wipe the 2023 from their memory, and when you're going out and trading for young prospects, the focus may be even more on 2025 and 26 now than it is 2024.
That was some great word parsing there about this is not a fire sale, it's a rebuild. Kind of the same thing. It's Candy and Carlin on ESPN Radio. She's Michelle Smallman. I'm Matt Jones, presented by Progressive Insurance. We are giving you the latest trades from the trade deadline. It goes till 6 o'clock. We mentioned Michael Lorenzen traded to the Phillies. We now have another trade. The Brewers acquired left-hand reliever Andrew Chafin in a trade with the Diamondbacks. It's kind of an odd one because both those teams are still kind of in contention for the wild card going against each other. And the Brewers already have a great bullpen, and now they got another guy. So, I don't know. I don't totally understand that, Michelle, but these teams still making deals here with an hour and a half left.
You can never have too much pitching, Matt, especially when it comes to the postseason. You never know what's going to happen, so maybe it's a little bit of insurance for the Brewers. But as a Reds fan, with the Brewers being your main competition there in the NL Central, how do you feel about them going out and making a move?
I hate the Brewers. We're 3-11 this year against the Brewers. The Reds have the best record in baseball since June 1st. If they didn't play the Brewers, the problem is that they can't beat the Brewers. Brewers just absolutely crush them. So I don't like them getting better. I've never trusted Milwaukee as a city anyway. Like it's just, yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's just something about it. There's beer everywhere and cheese, and it seems like it would be a fun place to be. Bob Uecker is kind of awesome, but I just don't trust him. Ever since then, and I think it's because the Brewers win every game against. I've been to more Reds losses to the Brewers than a person should be allowed to go to. I think they're literally like, the Reds are like 1-16 in games I go to when they play the Brewers.
Well, it seems like it's your fault, and maybe you should stop going to those. Maybe you're bad. And also, by describing a city as a place with cheese and beer and Bob Euchre, it sounds like paradise. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was a bad description.
Oh, I can't stand wonky cheese, beer. Ugh, terrible.
That makes it awesome. Now, the New York Mets are going to have a hard time explaining this season away, but they sent Justin Verlander and $54 million to the Astros. Not only sent him the player, sent him a check for $54 million, according to Bob Nightingale. That's kind of crazy. That check will go only, though, the total amount if Verlander's option in 2025 becomes vested. So basically, what Houston got is a player in Justin Verlander.
Army Green forward.
$19 million of his, or $21 million of his salary paid for, and basically, if he ends up having to play 2025, they'll get him for free. Because the Mets would be paying his whole salary. So when you look at her job, I don't know her personally. She may have other things, frustrations or whatever. But on this, I don't think she has an idea. Dan Snyder is the owner of the Commanders. But what does that mean for the Washington team heading into the season? That's next here on Candy Carter.
What should we do with the broke propeller? What should we do with the broke propeller? Don't look at me, I wasn't driving. Thank you, you're not helping. I don't even know where you bought this boat. You told me that you loved this boat. That was before you wrecked the boat. Well, now you've made it awkward.
Accidents don't just happen at sea shanties, so Progressive Boat Insurance has you covered. Take as little as 4 minutes to see what you can save at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates covered subject to policy terms and not available for all boats or in all situations.
So you're in the middle of a kitchen update, and you can't tell if that's a faucet stem or a flange. With the Home Depot app, doing doesn't miss a beat. It'll find what you
Get some ice cream.
Take a break at Iowa 80 Truck Stop.
Iowa 80.
Interstate 80, exit 284, Walcott, Iowa.
Pets. The masters of chaos and champions of mayhem. From their impeccable appetite for things they shouldn't eat, to their knack for transforming your home into their personal playground, they know exactly how to keep you on your toes. When the unexpected happens and you find yourself with a sky-high vet bill, Embrace Pet Insurance has you covered for the care they need. With lightning-fast claims processing, a 24/7 pet health line, and an optional wellness plan for routine care, Embrace Pet Insurance is your unwavering companion day and night. We'll be by your side faster than your pet can zooey around the living room. Visit EmbracePetInsurance.com or call 800-EMBRACE to protect your four-legged adventurer today. Embrace Pet Insurance, your partner in protection. That's EmbracePetInsurance.com or call 800-EMBRACE.
So we've got a #1 deluxe meal. Is there anything else I can get you? Yeah, I'd also like a good night's sleep. Maybe something like the I didn't struggle all night with my uncomfortable CPAP mask. Sir, I think what you're looking for is Inspire. It's an implant that works inside your body to treat sleep apnea without a CPAP. He sounds angry. Inspire, sleep apnea innovation. Inspire is not for everyone. Talk to your doctor to see if it's right for you and review important safety information at inspiresleep.com.
I think that's one of the most important things. They're reunited.
Houston's just a happy back of AL West leading Texas holds the second AL wildcard spot. Blue Jays acquired infielder Paul DeYoung from the Cardinals. Move made with Bo Bichette day to day due to right knee soreness.
If you need last-minute hiring in no time, you need Indeed. Their integrated hiring solution lets you schedule and conduct video interviews all in one place. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Get hiring at Indeed.com/credit. This is Canty and Carlin.
Hey, let's go do our job, man.
NFL Nation 2-a-days. ESPN Radio. The Washington Commanders.
158! No!
I'm John Kime on the Washington Commanders. Washington has started 34 different quarterbacks since it last won the Super Bowl after the 1991 season. The Commanders have started 8 quarterbacks in Coach Ron Rivera's first 3 seasons. And now they're entrusting the job to second-year quarterback Sam Howell, who has thrown all of 19 passes in the NFL. His progress will be the main storyline not only for camp, but for the season. Coaches and players have publicly and privately expressed confidence in Howell, but he's inexperienced and learning a new offense under coordinator Eric Bieniemy. If Howell develops, the Commanders might finally have found a long-term solution.
Countdown to kickoff with NFL Nation Two-A-Days on ESPN Radio.
It is time for our ESPN Radio NFL Two-A-Days. We're going to examine the Washington Commanders. He's Matt Jones. I'm Michelle Smallman. You're listening to Canty and Carlin here on ESPN Radio, the ESPN app. ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. And to break down the Commanders for us, we welcome in Ben Standing. He's a senior writer for The Athletic who covers the Commanders. Ben, thank you so much for the time. We appreciate it. And before we get into some specific players or scheme, what is the vibe like at Commanders camp now that Dan Snyder has been removed as the owner? The Josh Harris era is officially underway, so what has the energy been like?
You know, it's so funny. For the past 2 or 3 years, I've had people like yourself reach out to ask me this question, but it's always in the reverse. Like, how bad is it? How depressing is it? Can this thing go any lower? And now it's, oh, wait, it's a whole new world. I mean, you know, the sun is literally out, but it's that easy.
I'm still having a great time in New York, not pointing the fingers at any one version of Aaron Rodgers. That's TBD. But as of today, I think, yeah, we are seeing a different version of him.
I mean, that's beautiful. And I hope you're correct. I don't buy most of it. I mean, I think the key word you used was seems, because everything is sort of, we're looking at it from afar. But I have a couple of theories that I think hold true here. Number one, when people get to the age of 35, they are who they are. Like, you can evolve and you can, like, tinker a little bit, but you're the person you are at 35. I don't think you're the person you are at 25. But when you're 35, you meet a 35-year-old and then go see him 30 years later, they're just a different type of the same person. So he's old enough that I think 35-year-olds, I'm not saying they never change, but they
Bryson City.
Rich people, they never change. Like when you're rich, especially when you're really rich, you just tell me, I must be brilliant. I think Aaron Rodgers has oddly become more exhausting the older he gets. I think he has been less likable the last 2 years than he's been in his entire career. So I see this trajectory of a person who's gotten richer, who's gotten more self-assured, who has believed himself to be smarter every day. He has that trait that you see a lot nowadays, which is somebody who has like C intellect, but they think they're Albert Einstein. He has that as well.
Man, welcome to Bryson City right there.
I'm very skeptical. Yeah, he gave up
Yeah, there it is. I guess I picked a convenient location, didn't I? Hey, there's Arby's right down the road. Hey, that's neat. Favor, it's a short walk down there. It's right there.
He just waited an extra year because he's acknowledging he's going to play long.
McDonald's Burger King is right down the road now.
Let me go back to breaking up because I've been in a lot of relationships. You start your new one. Sometimes it's better and it's exciting. And for those first couple months, everybody's in a good mood, going doing fun things, and you don't know the part.
Made it to our destination, the Sleep Inn and Suites in Bryson City, North Carolina. We're gonna spend the night here, and tomorrow we're gonna go ride the Great Smoky Mountain Railroad to Dillsboro, by the fugitive wreck site.